Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. It is Royal Rumble Sunday, Larson.
Woohoo.
Woo, yeah, woo.
One of my 5 favorite days of the wrestling year. There's no one else in here.
It's very exciting. The Royal Rumble, like you said, one of the most fun pay-per-views, maybe the most fun pay-per-view, because everybody loves surprises. And you get 60 of them during this Royal, high 50s of them.
No,
you get
don't.
30 and 30 surprises.
Yeah, but not this year because like 43 of the 60 spots have been announced so far.
You don't know what number they're coming out.
Yeah, but you know they're going to be in it. Anyways, carry on.
Anyway, it ain't like it used to be where Vince would,
Even then, you didn't know what order they were going to come out and begin the show.
Man.
Anyways, let's go.
So you get a bunch
I won
of
that
surprises.
debate next.
You get a bunch of surprises. Change it. Surprises. And so it's very exciting. Fickle.
Weak.
Gillette. Anyways, so yeah, very exciting. We're going to be watching the Rumble live.
Later today
on our live stream reactions. Should be a lot of excitement there. So come check it out.
Yes, please.
I got to invite Hilton still. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, I can do that right now.
And then, yeah. So, but this is Matt Chat. This is where people send us.
I'm going to text Luchando.
This is okay. This is where people send us video questions. Of course, you can participate in the joy of Matt Chat by giving us $20 on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. But that's not all you get at $20. $20, you also get the Friendo Care Package, which includes comic books, some stickers, and a poster. And so that's very exciting. But we have all sorts of reward tiers on the Matt Chat, on the Patreon. It's not just the Matt Chat tier. But we got a lot of questions to get through.
Text sent.
Some of them are have to do with the Rumble, which we'll have watched by the next 24 hours anyways.
Yeah.
So.
All right, very well. First question, that was from Stevie Bradley, the Enforcer, and it's not about the Rumble.
That's weird. Where are you at, Stevie Bradley?
No, this is a good question, too. That's why we start the show with it. Go ahead, Enforcer.
Hey, Steven Larson and all the friendos out there. It's the Enforcer. And I got a real quick Matt Chat question for you. This new era that we're into, where they say they're allegedly listening to the fans. What's the report card so far? We're through the build to Royal Rumble. It's Royal Rumble Sunday. How do you feel? Do you feel positive, negative, somewhere in the middle? I personally am enjoying the shows much more. SmackDown is still better. But what do you guys think so far? Progress report. Where are they at? Let me know your thoughts. Too sweet and a hearty handshake.
Thank you, Enforcer, Stevie Bradley.
Thank you,
man.
Enforcer.
I love his new setup there for his Matt Chat questions.
It's dramatic lighting. He's got a new hockey jersey every week. That one he was wearing today looked phenomenal.
It's a solid beat. There's one person on Matt Chat today who has an A+ visual video. He comes up middle of the show. But Enforcer has a solid B+ Matt Chat setup.
Yeah,
there.
Enforcer. What hockey team is that jersey from? That looks really neat.
Well, we're not on Skype with him.
No, I know. But I'm hoping he'll see this video on Saturday or Sunday because it's Patreon. He tweeted, you get this early on Patreon.
Sure.
That he'll tweet at me and say, "Oh, it's from this team," because it's a pretty cool looking jersey. Anyways. ShakeUp report card, Steve. Do you want to go first, or since you're in the middle of something there, as I can see, do you want me to go first?
No, man, I'll go first.
All right.
Okay, so let's take a look at the actual changes that have taken place since the ShakeUp. Number one, Revival seem to not be very happy, and they've demanded changes. McMahon seems to have complied to some degree.
I think it's too soon to tell on that.
Well, no, they got some screen time with Vince, so he seems to be okay with it. So in that respect, we've got better Revival matches instead of all these shenanigans. So that's good. We've gotten more Vince. That's bad. We've gotten, I don't know. I'm gonna say I'll give it a solid B+. Same as Stevie Bradley setup. It's a solid B+ for the ShakeUp. I feel like they're giving us some stuff that we might want. Look, the wrestling's better. The wrestling's better. That's all I really care about. B+.
F.
Wow.
I'm not serious. I'm joking.
Oh, wow.
Not enough. So instead of saying what's changed, let's talk about what was promised to us and what results we have seen since the promises were made. It's been about a month.
Fresh matchups. Ray
Not
versus
really.
Almas.
Yeah, that's
Ray
one.
versus Almas.
But we
Mustafa Ali versus Samoa Joe.
Let me finish. But we also have still Baron versus Elias. We still have AJ versus Daniel Bryan. There's a lot of holdovers still.
That's a good one. That was in the middle of it.
Mixed results
And
so
they
far
said
as
it was
far
gonna
as
be weeks and months.
new matchups. Fresh mixed results so far. Fresh faces. Promised. Haven't really seen many of them in an important capacity. Heavy Machinery had a match. Nikki Cross has had a match. Lacey Evans declared for the Rumble. EC3's done a lot of posing.
Lars Sullivan
No-showed.
stayed home.
So we don't know what kind of impact those new faces are going to make because they haven't declared for their brands yet. So still too soon to tell.
How about this?
We're the boss now. We are the authority.
People like Finn Balor, and they're giving us a lot of good winning Finn Balor stuff.
Okay, let me finish, please. Are you done?
Oh, I thought it was a conversation.
No, this is an argument, man. I'm making my point. We're the boss now.
Yeah.
We're the authority, the people. Yeah. So if I'm the boss, I want Finn Balor to win the Royal Rumble, but I know that's not going to happen. Brock Lesnar is going to retain. Still too soon to tell. Everything across the board, I feel, too soon to tell whether actual genuine change. The most prominent change thus far is more Vince on TV. And that's not good for TV.
I think
by and large.
I think the wrestling aspect of things has gotten better, and I think that's the most important thing.
B-. Too soon to tell.
Really not that far apart.
B-.
B+ versus B-. Then we both say it's a solid B.
I almost said C+.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Because it's too soon to tell. Yeah, I mean, almost Ray, it's been great.
Yeah.
But SmackDown was putting on good matches even before they made all these promises of stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
SmackDown, by and large, has been more or less the same show.
Mm-hmm.
Just Andrade, Cien Almas is on TV more often, which is great.
Whoa, yeah. That's huge.
But, by all accounts, Mustafa Ali was going to be brought up before any of this happened.
You think Andrade feels kind of like a jerk now? Because he told a bunch of people not to go to WWE, and they hella showcase him now in the main event on SmackDown. He's probably like, man.
At the time, I'm sure, based on what his experience was, that's how he felt.
It's like when you talk
maybe in a year when Rush's Ring of Honor contract is up, he can give Andrade a call and see if his opinion's changed. If it's changed, then Andrade can give him a revised opinion.
Ahora aquí. Bueno. Bueno. And then Rush. WWE. Anyways, next, Rich Hardesty. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, Stephen Larson, Rich Hardesty here on a camping trip here in Oregon. Here with a Matt Chat question for you. So, after watching the retro review of the 92 Rumble and seeing how just energetic Roddy Piper was, it got me to kind of think about Ronda's creative lately. She's kind of characterized as the baddest woman on the planet, yet she's going and chasing down people and apologizing to them. But Roddy was just full of energy and was just crazy, kind of in a Dean Ambrose type of a thing. And it got me kind of wondering, are WWE kind of butchering Ronda's creative already? I mean, we've been really impressed with what she's been able to do in the ring so quickly, but she's not got that kind of badass mentality that we even saw from herself in the UFC. So I'm kind of curious for your thoughts. Thanks, guys. Too sweet. Hearty handshake.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
Is WWE botching Ronda's creative? Maybe this is a situation. They're telling the story of how, because from the very beginning, Ronda's been like, yeah, I don't want to be handed anything. I want to earn the respect of the locker room. Maybe because of that, she's been kind of walking around on eggshells back there. She's trying to earn her spot.
She's new.
She's trying to earn her spot. She doesn't want to rub anyone the wrong way just by her mere presence. And so, yeah, maybe, just maybe, she's being a bit friendlier than she normally would be. However, I feel like right now we're in the midst, and I think commentary mentioned this on, especially Corey Graves, this Monday on Raw, that she's finding out the hard way that you don't go in WWE to make friends. Either you make friends or you make money. You win championships. And maybe the story is now she's finding out the hard way that she can't go in there and walk on eggshells and expect to earn the respect. She has to go out there and fight and earn respect that way. Maybe the culmination of that story, the bottom for Ronda Rousey, such as it was, is losing to Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble and losing that woman's title. And then we'll get a fiery Ronda Rousey, an intense Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, who going forward could very much align with Shayna Baszler and the rest of the MMA Four Horsewomen to take on WWE's Four Horsewomen at like SummerSlam or Survivor Series next year. They're starting that transformation to an edgier, more intense, more physical Ronda Rousey. I think we're in the midst of that transformation right now.
I'll be honest with you. I agree 100% with everything you just said. I think they're telling a story with Ronda. I think that's what they're doing. I think it's. I'll be honest with you. So, I guess I'll sort of believe it when I see it, but all the seeds for the first chapter of that particular story have been planted. Mm-hmm. The Natalya match that we saw live, where she didn't want to take advantage. She didn't want to do that.
She was hesitant to put the armbar on Natalya. As soon as Natalya tapped out, she was off. But then, she also understood that, man, if she one moment of hesitation, Natalya took advantage of it. She tried to get the upper hand, and then Ronda Rousey ended up in the end. Like, I have to do this. Yeah, so the seeds are actually totally there, and it could be a really, really well told story, all the way through the horsewoman versus horsewoman thing, which could be a really, really great long-term story. And all the seeds, all the bits and pieces are there for it. And even looking at just this match at the Rumble, it wasn't like Ronda's like, I really want to take on Sasha Banks for the title.
Yeah.
And
then look how that pans out. You get somebody, you calling out Sasha Banks, oh, respect. And Sasha Banks is like, I'm not about respect. I want that title. So you just bit off more than you could chew. The only thing I will say, if you want to get into the sort of bits and pieces, the details of what they might have been doing wrong, I don't think it's been all aces. I will say my one thing about Ronda is, and I think maybe she's up for the challenge, but it helps maybe to fail a little bit and to figure out where you are. This past week on Raw, they gave her a giant chunk of script to perform.
It's not the first time that's happened.
At gorilla position,
yeah,
during one of those interviews, and she really, muffed that one up. That being said, I think it's fine to get ambitious with what you can do. It's just be prepared to stumble along the way. That was way too much of a promo for her to handle all in one bit. That stuff takes a lot of time. But given where she should be and where she is, I think she is further along by a long shot than where really she should be. Performing on the mic is probably, man, that is not easy.
Especially when Vince is probably like 3 feet
right
away.
there breathing on you.
Yeah.
So maybe they're throwing a bit much at her for what she can handle, but that might also be her saying, no, I can handle whatever you got. Just give it to me.
And I guess it also speaks to their confidence in her ability to potentially handle it, because in the past she has taken a lot of dialogue and actually done a fairly decent job with it. So perfect. Good. That's perfect.
So yeah, I think that, it hasn't been A+, but definitely you can't go any lower than an A-, man.
B+.
Okay, I guess you can. You can. I'd say an A- is pretty good, though. Next up.
From Graham, he wants us to reconsider, I guess, our stance on Finn winning.
Just gave away his question. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Have him do it.
Take it away, Graham.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Larson. My question this week is, Brock stood tall on the very last episode of Raw, and honestly, I think, the way it's set up, I honestly think Finn could beat Brock. Honestly, I think it could have. You two think it's not going to happen at all, but honestly, I think it could. And I think you should, maybe think about it again, because I honestly think Finn could win. Anyway, let me know what you think. Too sweet, early handshake.
Thank you, Graham.
All right, let's think about it. No, take a moment.
Look,
take a moment. No,
listen,
I don't want to rush into anything.
Listen, Graham. Listen.
We
got the same question last week. He ain't winning. I've thought about it. Finn ain't winning, man.
No, he's not winning, but I can see his point. Let's look at what just happened on Raw. Vince set the stage for anything less than a win for Finn would be an utter failure in his eyes. He says, I don't believe in everything on Raw was set up for Finn to win. Brock stood tall in their segment. Vince said his thing. I don't believe in fairy tales, really putting the making this a real underdog story, more so than probably already was, or just really reemphasizing the fact that it is a huge underdog story. Everything on Raw was set up for Finn to win. And if Finn doesn't win, it more or less validates 85% of what Vince has said about Finn on Raw.
I disagree.
All right.
Finn can have and will have an outstanding performance where he is on the precipice of winning. A performance that we have not seen before. The kind of performance we've seen from guys like Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles.
Well, which one is it? A performance we haven't seen before or a performance like we've seen from Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles?
Performance we haven't seen before from Finn Balor,
All right.
but one similar to what we've seen from AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan against Brock Lesnar. One which, by every single measure, will validate his stance as a heavyweight contender in the WWE, because he will do what so many other guys that Vince McMahon do find worthy have done: take Brock Lesnar to the limit. That's enough to justify his presence there
you're right.
in the main
I'm
event.
just saying, I was saying from a different point of view how people could think that it's set up so it seems like Finn has to win.
Oh yeah. Look. If you look at the math,
Finn's totally going to lose.
You look at the math.
I gave Brock all my confidence points.
If you look at the math, Brock Lesnar stood tall. That's the only thing that kind of gives me a little bit of pause.
No, because even the stand tall math isn't like foolproof. That's like a 60% likelihood.
I think it's not. Yeah.
So, and if anybody is above the math, it's Brock Lesnar.
Oh, for sure.
So, sorry, Graham. Finn's totally losing. I mean, I want Finn to win. I'm going to be rooting for him.
Out so hard.
Yeah.
I would totally apologize to everybody who's asked us this question, but he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
It's
more
the
than anything,
Royal Rumble.
don't
It's
get
not Mania.
just don't get your hopes up.
It's not gonna happen.
Just enjoy the match because it's probably gonna be pretty good.
We're old. We've been around a little while. We know when a guy is going to lose, and he's totally going to lose here. Now,
he's going to lose.
There's the possibility. I left it open in my predictions. I said, look, the only caveat is maybe Braun comes down, Finn's on the precipice of maybe winning. Braun comes down and spoils it so that Finn gets a DQ victory. But then that would just mean he needs his rematch, and that's not going to happen.
Well, then also Braun says, I don't know if you can beat Brock at that Rumble,
but I want you to.
But you better.
Yeah.
So what's leading me to believe? I don't know what Braun's motivation would be to cost Finn.
Right?
match.
Yeah. Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. So
because Finn's Braun's little buddy. Remember?
Yeah, that's true too. So yeah, you're right. So I'm wrong about that. It's gonna be one of those great underdog David Goliath, but in the end, Goliath's gonna win because Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins gonna beat him at Mania.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna go down.
Yeah. Next, Zenith 64. See what Zenith has to say.
Okay.
Salutations, friendo. So, assuming that the writers are going to start booking very well-made storylines, who would you book in a heel versus heel storyline for this instance? My pick would be Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. They're both really great talkers. They're both big hosses, and they're really great wrestlers. So, who would you choose for a heel versus heel storyline that would actually work out and be very well booked? Thank you.
Thank you, Zenith.
Thank you, Zenith.
You're busy. I'll go first. You go first because
book a top heel versus top heel. Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now I know in this situation, Nakamura. I don't even know if he's really a heel. Well, yeah, he kind of is. He hurt Lana and stuff. Here's the thing: Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura. They want it. Crowd wants it. Everybody wants to see it. I want to see it. So I think it'd be fun if they were trying to out heel each other.
There'd be a lot of hitting in the front area.
Yeah, it'd be lots of that's right. Lots of front area action, lots of dingus action. Business.
Front area biz.
So I just Nakamura said that one of the reasons he went to WWE is to fight Daniel Bryan. So let's see that. You don't need to change Nakamura's character. People can root for who they want.
Mm-hmm. Or they just root for good wrestling.
They just root for good wrestling, good vicious heel wrestling.
Yeah.
Trying to out cheat each other and out low blow each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see, man.
I want to see, you're half right, Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
And as much as I like Nakamura, I think he's great.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Give me Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens.
It's a good one.
And I think the best bit, Daniel Bryan, he's not a fan of materialism, commercialism.
Sure.
And he can get on Kevin Owens about his taste in music. Shania Twain.
Elton John, calling out Elton John for a match at Mania. Don't go breaking my heart. That could be Kevin Owens' new theme song.
There you go.
And he can get...
no, he comes back after double knee surgery. I'm still standing. That's what it is, Steve.
That's really good. Change the pop-up powerbomb to the Rocket Man.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a special Saturday night pay-per-view because Saturday night's all right for fighting.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So yeah, give me Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens. The promos would just be
You know, I'm bummed out.
so good.
Bummed out George Michael's dead. He seemed like just a cool dude, man. He
And
seemed
a
like a
hell of a talent.
Oh my gosh.
Hell of
the
a
level
talent,
of the
man.
80s really kicked out, or the 70s and 80s really kicked out some amazing like arena freaking style over the top
I
talent.
mean, George Michael, Elton John's duet, and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me.
Right? That's what I was
Man.
thinking of, man. I'm going to
Moving.
put that on a playlist right now.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
That was great stuff. Anyways, that's a great question, though. Next up, we got another great
Oh, wait,
question.
sorry. So yeah, sorry. Daniel Bryan could just attack Kevin Owens for his popular mainstream music tastes, and saying all these huge touring artists spending tons of money touring the world, gobbling up all sorts of energy to power their their high voltage stage productions, damaging the planet.
I like this, though. What if you just did that? I know it's probably going to be Ray versus Daniel Bryan at Mania,
Yeah.
and well-deserved.
Yeah.
But what if Owens just like, he made just a surprise return, not at the Rumble, but just at the Raw after or SmackDown after Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna get that babyface pop, and they just ride with that.
Oh, I know.
The
They were
tweener
kind of
thing.
teasing a Twitter thing, anyways, before he left. So
and he just
after
calls
Lashley
out
destroyed-
Daniel Bryan.
before Lashley destroyed him. Yeah.
Like, what happened to you? You're crazy. He could have also like the promo battles. Kevin Owens would be killing it. It'd be
Yep.
so funny
Yep.
to listen to him run down like crazy Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Maybe bring in a little bit of like, because Kevin Owens, he's not, especially on Twitter, he always talks about it being a family man and stuff like that. And like his WWE persona is sort of least likely family man, you know?
I know.
But like if
Well,
he,
in NXT it was like I got to do this because I want to put food on the table for my family. Yeah.
But if they incorporated a little bit of that, sort of domesticated Kevin Owens, that'd be funny. That'd be great. And but he's still like killer in the ring. I'd love to see that at Mania.
That'd be good. It'd be good. Really good. Next from Christopher Rampersad. See what Christopher has to say.
Hello, Steven Larson. So my question is, who should main event Double or Nothing? Who should main event? Who will be the biggest draw to bring people in to watch Double or Nothing?
Thank you, Christopher Rampersad.
Thank
So,
you.
what should main event Double or Nothing? Now, it seems like Cody's going to be out
yeah.
because he needs knee surgery. As far as I know, he hasn't had it yet. He's got like multiple meniscus tears, depending on what approach he takes to surgery, whether they just clip the torn meniscus or they do like a microfracture thing. The recuperation time is far different. They do the microfracture thing. It's much longer recuperation
who are you talking
time.
about right now?
Cody.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to main event. That's not a big deal.
Well, I was thinking maybe they could do Cody versus Jericho.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
But Cody's probably going to be out of action. So you're looking at...
Jericho has to be in the main event, right?
Yeah.
It's Jericho.
Yeah.
We've done Jericho Kenny.
Could it be Jericho Pac Hangman for the title?
When is Kenny's contract? That's coming up soon, huh?
End of the month.
We're going to find out then.
About a week.
Who?
Jericho Pac Hangman for the AEW title.
You think they're going to christen that title before they do TV?
Maybe. They got to generate some serious buzz for this next show. Because the talent pools will be vastly smaller than it was for the first All In.
Double or Nothing. They should do like a one-show tournament
They could do that.
to crown the champion.
That'd be exciting.
That'd be cool.
Have Jericho in it.
Have Jericho in it, but have him bow out, not shockingly early, but like in the
Second round. Third round, maybe.
No, in the semi-final, and then have it end up being Hangman versus Pac. I think that if you can really use the big name talent you have to push up Hangman and Pac.
This is what you do. You
That's
have
a killer
you
main
have Kenny
event.
in there too. You do Hangman going over Jericho. In the other semi, you get Pac versus Kenny.
Whoa, that's killer.
In
That's
the other
good.
semi, Pac goes over.
That's good.
Pac versus Hangman for the title.
We should book that and then do we book
AEW
as a tournament.
Double or Nothing.
As
yeah.
a tournament. Oh, that's killer. I love that.
8-man tournament all in one show.
Oh, I like that. That's good. We should do that.
All right.
Get some money for it. Anyways, who's next on our list of amazing Patreon questions?
Next, Joshua, the Dynamic Knight Martinez.
So this is the A plus. Look, did you see the camera movement on this?
Oh man,
like how is it so smooth?
I don't know.
It's
Did
like
he have a gimbal?
Did he have a gimbal for this?
I don't
like
know.
the audio's got some wind to it, but he's got to
Can't do much
upgrade
about that
his
on the
mic
phone.
a little
That's
bit.
on the phone though. You can't do much about that. You can't put a windscreen over your cell phone mic.
It's like some Aaron Sorkin moving, talking stuff going on here. This is an A+ video.
Very good.
This is like Mustafa Ali video
really
promo.
It is.
Let's see Joshua Martinez's question.
Hey, friendos. So by the time this comes out, it'll be Royal Rumble weekend. So my question is, what's one outcome, or you can name different outcomes that you would change for different Royal Rumbles? I think one that I would want to see, like how it would affect the future, would be when the whole Batista-Cena botch happened. I kind of wonder what would have happened if Cena would have won instead of Batista. Because when the botch originally happened, they both kind of touched the floor at the same time. But what if it was made clear that Batista touched the ground first, so then Cena would have won out of a botch? I'll be interested to know what you guys think. Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you, Joshua.
So we got a count out that actually came out yesterday about this.
Yeah.
But for those who didn't watch count out, we could revisit it, or we can put forth some alternate scenarios that we didn't put forth in count out.
So I was able to find. So here's the thing. This is the wonky world of our YouTube shooting schedule. We haven't filmed it yet, but we have the lists in front of us.
Yeah.
And you have to review it to do your own little bit of research.
Yeah, I'll
for
do a
it.
little bit of research into it too. Yeah.
But I will just tackle one of these that I thought was a good one. How about this? 1994. Brett and Lex Luger both go over the top at the same time, and that leads them to WrestleMania 10, where Luger takes on Yokozuna first. Doesn't make any sense. In the meantime, Brett and Owen have a match where Owen wins, but Brett still has his title shot against Yoko later in the show.
Yeah.
He ends up
beating Yokozuna for the title,
beating him for the title, exactly, and like a Yokozuna
fell
off the top, exactly.
Yeah.
So that happened. How about this? I like this better because I understand that people really loved Yokozuna in terms of being a big bad guy. I get that. I don't really see it, to be honest. I think it's kind of silly. How about this, man? How about instead of Luger and Brett going over the top rope, you have Brett and Owen going over the top rope? So brothers go into WrestleMania and they have to fight for that. So they still have that first match at Mania, except Brett ends up going over. He takes on Yokozuna later on. And then him and Owen celebrate together.
Here's the problem.
in the ring.
Problem with that scenario.
Go ahead.
What is Lex to do then at that WrestleMania?
Do we care? We do not
Oh,
care.
all right. Well, I guess it's not a concern of yours. I won't worry about it too much. For me, the one that really sticks out is 2012. The one that Sheamus won, and then he went on to beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania in like 8 seconds. Sheamus, who's doing great work now. Awesome work. A really underwhelming winner, especially in the last two was Jericho, and Jericho was making that surprise return. In my mind, would have made more sense for Jericho of those two to win, and then he can go on challenge Punk for the belt, which still all happened.
Yeah, that still happened.
And the scenario you posit here, the Miz winning in 2012 to go on and face Daniel Bryan, could have been interesting
to add to their legacy of you would have had just one more thing.
For me, the 2012 Rumble is one that kind of feels like was a missed opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah,
enormously.
Yeah,
because what did Sheamus really do with the title? Like, who did he lose it to?
Yeah, who did he lose it to?
I don't remember.
Probably like some combination of Edge, Alberto Del Rio.
It was a world
Edge was already retired.
It was a world heavyweight champion.
What is this? 2012.
Yeah.
2012. He had the world title. Boy, I don't know.
Let me look it up real quick.
Who had the big gold belt? Was it like?
It was. Oh, he lost it to Big Show.
Okay.
And then Del Rio got it.
Okay.
And then Dolph, and then Del Rio.
Yeah,
and
all
then
those.
Cena,
yeah.
Before it was unified, when Randy Orton beat
John Cena for it. Yeah. No, that's a good one. Put some more stank on that.
Imagine if either Miz or Jericho won that Rumble, especially Miz. Imagine the Miz Daniel Bryan feud, whether Miz won or Daniel Bryan retained. It could have taken that belt into a whole nother direction. That might have been far more interesting than what it went.
Yeah. And I mean, even like throw Miz into the mix of world title holders. That dude, his career deserves having the prestige of being both the NWA lineage and the WWE
Man, Sheamus
lineage.
had that belt for 210 days.
Yeah, dude, and it's just a whole lot of nothing going on there. Just a whole lot of nothing. I love Sheamus now. I think he's great.
Oh, he's been doing great work.
As a singles guy, it just never clicked for me.
Yeah.
Well, he clicked for me for like a moment. I really liked his theme song back then.
You did.
Lobster Head one?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
You really liked that.
It was a good song. But yeah, we've got 8 more Rumble winners that should have won but didn't, or superstars that should have won the Rumble but didn't.
Yeah.
On count out from yesterday. So go check that out.
Yes, please.
Right now, in the meantime, we're going to hit another Matt Chatter.
Perry Smythe.
Perry Smythe.
Let's see what Perry has to say.
Hey friendos, so these events are a long way off from happening, but which do you think would be a bigger rub for a superstar? The first person to win the Royal Rumble 3 times in a row, or the first person to win the Royal Rumble twice in a row from the number 1 or 2 position? Thanks, see you later.
Thank you, Perry Smythe.
Thank you, Perry. I kind of feel like they're both pretty impressive, but winning 3 Rumbles in a row?
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah,
Stone Cold won 2 in a row.
Yeah. 3 altogether.
Yeah.
97, 98, and 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's won 3, although the 97 one was disputed.
I guess my only problem with somebody winning 3 in a row, number one, obviously, it depends on who it is. Because if you get like a Roman Reigns winning it 3 in a row, Roman Reigns before his his cancer came back, when people were crapping all over him for being pushed too hard, then it's like Roman Reigns main eventing WrestleMania however many times in a row he did it.
He did for like 4 years in a row.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
4 years in a row. And when people say, oh my gosh, lacks tension, they're just pushing him down, shoving him down our throats. Whereas if you get a guy 2 years in a row who came in at number 1, that's like Seth Rollins' workhorse territory, where it's like, oh man, this dude is a workhorse. He did that 2 years in a row. That's crazy.
Let me ask, how about this? So, for example, let's say Johnny Gargano enters. Just using him as an example.
Yeah, sure.
A guy who's an underdog.
Yeah.
Just kind of naturally. Enters a Rumble early on, wins it. Goes on to WrestleMania, loses. Doesn't win. Next year, he's in the Rumble again. Wins it. Goes to WrestleMania again. Guess what? Loses.
So Buffalo Bill situation from the early 90s. Yeah, okay.
Third time's the charm, man. Gets in there. Is that the saying? Yeah.
Third time's the charm, yeah.
Gets in there. Wins the Rumble the 3rd time.
Okay.
Finally wins.
Yeah.
A story like that might work. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if someone wins the Rumble, wins at Mania, wins the Rumble, wins at Mania, wins the Rumble, wins at Mania, yeah, it's going to get tiresome. It's all based on the story that's being told around the wins,
Yeah. No, I agree. You're right. If it's the kind of thing where it's a story that's being told where finally he gets it, that's a massive, massive story to be using 3 Rumbles in a row and then 3 WrestleMania main events and then he finally wins one. That's a great, great story as opposed to just, oh, we're going to try this Roman thing again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. It absolutely does depend on the story. But in the WWE's way of doing things, generally, if somebody wins something a couple times in a row, it's because they're shoving them down our throats. Whereas if somebody is coming in at number 1 and putting in just a crazy workhorse performance, that's people really respond to that,
Yeah.
So, but like you said, it all depends on the story
It's all
being
based on
told.
the story being told. Totally.
I mean, if Roman Reigns is in there at number 1 2 years in a row and he's just, again, pre-cancer Roman, and he's just like, Superman punching everybody, that'd be boring too. So people want to see people work, man. That's why Seth Rollins.
They want to see interesting stories.
Yeah.
Next, Stephen M. See what Stephen M has to say.
Good starting friends, because my Luke Martin's charged and with guest for Stephen M here with another match at question. Now, with titles in WWE, we consider the WWE the top title, and the Universal title is seen by WWE as a top title. But the women's titles and tag titles should be seen as just on the same par, as these are the best of their divisions. I know there's a lot of thrown in tag teams, especially on the Raw division, and it's kind of in the toilet at the minute. But what can WWE do to put these titles up on the same lineage and just power as the other titles? And should the best tag team be considered on the same level as the best woman and men's champion? Too sweet. Ready handshake.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Thank you, Stephen M.
The easiest way in my mind to elevate titles other than the world titles is just have main event pay-per-views, especially major pay-per-views. So, for example, if upcoming Mania, if either the Raw or SmackDown Women's titles defend the main event in a match between Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte, whether it's 2 of those 3 or all 3, that's going to do a lot to elevate the women's division and the titles associated with that division. Imagine if, for example, the Young Bucks hadn't signed with WWE, got into a program with New Day. I mean, that feud, a match in that feud could totally main event a pay-per-view. Maybe even something like SummerSlam if it's built right. That's how you elevate titles. You have them in prominent positions on huge pay-per-views with interesting, well-told stories pushing the feud along. That's how you do it.
Yeah, the women's division is, just by virtue of how many years the WWE sort of, didn't take the women's division seriously, the lineage obviously isn't going to be on par with the men's division, which has, granted, the men's titles also have their ups and downs. Well, the Universal title is brand new,
basically. It's been like 4 people have held that belt. So.
Yeah, pretty much. But WWE treats it like a big deal. I think they kind of do the same thing with the Raw Women's title, even though it's fairly brand new. So but like you said, it's how you treat it and how you develop that lineage. Obviously, with the women's division, they are sort of starting. Kind of, the women's revolution is 3-4 years old, maybe. But it's got some impressive things under it right now within it. And that's how you do it. You main event Mania. Yeah. If it's the hot story on any given month, that should be main eventing the show.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how you do it. But obviously, when you go back to the funny thing is the lineage title isn't even close to be. I honestly think that they treat the Raw Women's title in higher esteem than the WWE lineage
title.
Pretty
much any belt on Raw, save for the tag titles, are held in higher esteem than the WWE Championship. I think the Intercontinental title, especially while Seth had it.
Yeah, I would put him on. I would probably put him on par. I'd probably put him on on the same ground at that time. But it's up for debate for sure. I'm not going to say yeah. Say yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, at any given time, whatever WWE wants to push, that's what's important.
Yes.
If like you said, if the Young Bucks came to town, all of a sudden those Raw tag team titles, those would be cream of the crop. You'd see New Day move over to Raw. You'd see probably Thebar move over there.
Usos too.
Ascension would kick over the other way. Whoever else would kick over the other way.
Everybody else, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Save for Revival and Gable and Rude, maybe.
And you'd probably see some killer main events with those tag titles. So, but yeah. Who's next?
Devin the Dude.
Devin the Dude.
Hey, friendos. It's Devin back with another Matt Chat question from the Dude. I want to know what you guys think about the importance of Becky Lynch versus Asuka.
Thank you, Devin the Dude.
Thank you, Devin.
How important do you think Becky versus? I'll just go first. To the WWE, it's not as important as it should be. It should be a lot more important than it is. I guess we'll find out more at the Rumble, but until Asuka is sort of at the level that they're teasing Ronda, Becky, Charlotte at, which I just don't get. I don't feel that yet. Maybe I'll be proven wrong at the Rumble. I'd love to see that main event at Mania be all 4 of them.
Yeah, agreed.
That'll go a long way towards it.
Yeah.
But until now, or at this point, Becky is still seemed to be treated as top dog, almost above title on SmackDown. But I want to see Asuka. I think she deserves and should be, based on her in-ring ability, based on how much people love her.
Yeah.
She needs to be in that top 4
She needs to be in that discussion, yeah.
Yeah, for
agreed.
sure.
In that sense, I don't know how important the match is in terms of WWE, in terms of their business, but it's incredibly important for Asuka. If she loses this match and loses the title, she have a title reign of about a month?
Yeah.
That's not going to be good for her. Holding on to this belt, regardless of how it happens, is immensely important for Asuka to establish herself as a champion, legitimize her as a champion, because basically whatever happened at NXT, I know it's been mentioned on TV, Becky just mentioned it on SmackDown this week, it's basically non-canon on main roster.
Yeah.
And at this point, they don't even hardly mention Asuka's winning streak in NXT.
Right, yeah.
So they really need to legitimize her as a champion on the main roster. And to do that, they need to give her a decent title run and a decently long reign. And her losing to Becky would just torpedo all of that. She needs that. She needs to win. It's incredibly important for Asuka to hold on to that belt.
Let me ask you this. What would be better for Asuka? What would be better for Asuka? Scenario 1. She loses the title at the Rumble, but she's in a fatal 4-way main event match at Mania. Or she keeps the title at the Rumble, kickoff show title match at Mania, but she still has the title.
So here's the thing.
If you're Asuka, what timeline would you
I
rather
don't
be?
think she would be in the Fatal 4-Way at Mania if she lost the belt. Like, I think she needs to win the belt to justify her spot in that match to the larger WWE universe. Not to me. I think she's, probably one of the 3 best wrestlers.
If she gets screwed out of the title match at Rumble and they write her into the Fatal 4-Way somehow, some way,
No,
she justifies it through a win or something.
I mean, if she gets screwed out of it, the title, then maybe. But I feel like she needs to have a decently long title reign.
But we've seen things like AJ's title reign, which, granted, had its ups and downs, but wasn't really that iconic.
No, I know. It wasn't because the creative, for whatever reason, apart from like the Joe stuff.
Because if you're not doing something,
great.
The problem is, dude, if you're not doing something with Becky or Charlotte or Ronda, you're doing something in the kickoff show.
Well, that's on the
That's
SmackDown.
the scene right
that's
now.
the SmackDown women's roster now. But I think if they bring someone over from Raw to challenge her, they bring. I know you disagree, but I think if Ember Moon wins, if she were to win the Rumble somehow and challenge Asuka, I think they would put that in the main card.
It's not in the main card, man.
I think it would be.
I don't see how you
think
get
it would
there.
be.
She's won. Ember, look, man, you and I love Ember Moon. She was just in a tag match on Main Event this past week.
I know.
They don't treat her to that level.
But I think if she were to win the Rumble and have a great showing in it, then they possibly could. I don't think it's a guaranteed kickoff show match. I don't think it is. Ember versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. I don't think that's a kickoff show match.
As it stands right now, it is. They'd have to do a lot of work to get it out.
And they have
of
time.
kickoff.
They have 3 months, 2.5 months to do that.
I have no faith. No faith.
I do.
All right.
Ember
fair
Moon's
enough.
that good.
Fair enough.
Asuka's that good.
Creative? Can you say that again? Are you going to say that about creative?
Well, I mean, it'll
good.
be on the SmackDown, which I have far more faith in the SmackDown creative than the Raw creative.
Man, Naomi and Mandy Rose are fighting in a comedy match.
I understand that. That's an
They're
outlier.
in a comedy gimmick.
For the most part, that's an outlier.
The
That's an outlier.
Iconics come out and get booed every week because their creative is so crap.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how to do the Iconics right yet.
Who else is there? There's nobody else, man. There's nobody else. Carmella has a 7-second dance break keeping her relevant.
That's really over.
Let's move on.
But she had a good backstage segment with Charlotte this week.
Let's move on.
Next, Zach S. He's back with the video question. I think last week he had a text
Hall
question.
of Famer, Zach S.
Yes, see what Zach has to say.
What's good, Stephen Larson, many friendos out there? It is your Mad Chat Hall of Famer, Zachos, coming at you with another Mad Chat question. The question this week is, Stephen Larson, over the last 10 years, 2008 to 2019 roughly, which of these 3 countries would you say has produced the greater crop of talent? The Great Britain, Canada, or Japan? Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Zach S.
Thank you, Zach S.
I go first.
Okay, you go. It's Japan.
It is, but see, I mean, like
These are both right answers.
We gotta decide on how we're gonna answer this question. Is it talent who's debuted since 2008?
In which case, it's the UK.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or is it talent who's risen to prominence within the last 10 years? In
No-
which case,
No country has produced more top flight talent in the past 2 years, let alone 10 years, than the UK.
yeah, the scene over there has really exploded.
Oh my, it's like
crazy.
exploded.
It's crazy.
They created an entire another WWE over there.
Because the depth of the talent over there. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
However, the flip side of that, if you look at New Japan, they just churn out top flight talent. You go there, you show up at their dojo, and then in 3 years,
They mold you into a superstar.
oh my goodness gracious! So
It's something else.
Their system in New Japan Pro Wrestling is the biggest star-making machine.
Yeah.
The depth of talent that has just emerged from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Probably the top.
Again, it
flight.
depends on the criteria we use. If it's talent who's more or less made their debut since 2008, it's hard to argue against the United Kingdom. But if it's just talent who's risen to prominence, like Okada got to start before 2008, but he didn't really become Okada till 2011, 2012.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. But no, it's hard to argue against either of these. But yeah, like you said, it depends on the criteria. It's crazy that the UK just all of a sudden, like by virtue of all these little promotions,
yeah.
just
And now WWE created a whole new WWE just for them.
exactly. We have one text question from Hall of Famer AO Worm.
Yeah.
What does he have to say,
He
Larson?
says, do you think WWE has women writers? If yes, do you think the writing could be better? If no, do you think the WWE should invest and hire some? I have no idea who's on the writing staff. I believe on one episode of the Pritchard's podcast, he said one of the creative executives was a woman.
I think I remember that. And then she like left or something.
I think so, but for like forever.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie's like head of creative.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'll say this again. Like we're not there. We don't know who.
Yeah. We don't know the. Well, I guess we have an idea because Pritchard talked about that, and there's 20 some creative staff members in the room, and they do ideas, and they go off and write their own little bits and come back and try to make a show out of things written by 15 different people.
I will say this though. I will just say this. I think diversity is super important.
Yes.
Because their roster is a fairly diverse, is a pretty diverse one. But yeah, you got a women's division which is growing rapidly thanks to all the signings they got there in NXT and the Mae Young Classic. So your women's division isn't getting any smaller. So yes, you probably should be hiring a lot of women to write.
Yes.
Because they are adding that perspective that men don't have.
Exactly.
And diversity from all walks of life just makes for a better product.
It really does.
That's factual, man. That's just factual. So yeah, if we don't know if they do, if they don't, they should. And yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's what I got.
You're right.
That's what I got for you. Anyways, what a fantastic episode of Matt
swell.
Chat. Just magnifique. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. If you guys want to participate in Matt Chat, $20 bill gets you there. And just send it to us in an envelope and then send us a couple of emails with your video questions. I think that's how it works.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen
You get
Larson.
more than just an opportunity to be on Matt Chat, 'cause that was the only perk you got. It's not a great value.
No. You get a comic book too. So yeah, and a shout out. I say your name
You
on
get a
air.
lot. $20 is a good value.
It's a great value. It's a really, really super good value.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like as good as Netflix though. It's like only $14, and you get like all sorts of movies and stuff.
We don't get as many movies as you used to get on Netflix. Remember they had the Stars library on there, and it was like 90% movies and 10% TV shows. Now it's 95% TV shows, 4% Netflix original movies.
Yeah, half of which are like,
they're hit or miss, man.
I watched one called IO.
Yeah, we watched that.
Oh, you watched that? What'd you think of that?
It was kind of narratively inert.
Yeah.
It didn't really go anywhere. Like the mood was nice and it was shot well.
I loved the world building.
Yeah, but like story-wise, it just didn't really go anywhere. I feel like I didn't finish watching it. I got bored and left.
I watched the whole thing. However, I watched it on my iPad.
Yeah.
And multiple times I hit the fast forward 10 seconds button. And like nothing had happened.
Yeah, nothing really happened in that movie.
But I kind of dug it. It was a small sci-fi
as
movie.
a mood piece, it was relatively effective.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere.
I'll put it this way: like compare that with Extermination. I think it was called. That movie was lit. How do you got Michael Pena in your movie and you make it a really bad movie?
We watched one.
There was some bad green screen work in that.
We watched one called The Open House that literally made no sense. There's like some huge twist at the end. It's like, where did that come from? No sense.
Dude, the freaking what's that guy? The Nightcrawler one. That movie's a Netflix original.
Oh, really?
The Jake Gyllenhaal, Dan Gilroy movie.
Yeah.
That's going to be on Netflix February 1st.
That's cool. Have you watched Roma yet? The Alfonso Cuarón movie? That's a Netflix movie.
No.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Got a Best Picture nomination.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's Alfonso Cuarón. It's probly pretty good.
Holy moly. And it's a Netflix original?
Although I didn't really care for Gravity that much. Speaking of a movie that didn't really have a story.
Oh, it was technically.
Holy
crap!
It was
magnifique,
impressive.
I have a hard time criticizing any movie that's so technically impressive because so many people work so hard on that, and it'd be so hard to do.
No, I agree. At the end of the day, though, if it's not resonating with you emotionally.
Oh, I got weepy just looking at that movie.
Oh yeah,
I could just not even listen to it, not know what's going on, and I'd be like, man, this movie is immaculate.
It is.
I get what you're saying story-wise, though.
I kind of got bored during watching it.
I like George Clooney, though.
Oh, he was good, yeah.
He would pop up from time to time as like a ghost.
Children of Men is fantastic.
Oh, that's a beautiful movie. Yeah, man. Netflix, they're just doing this, man.
They're just throwing money at everything.
Stop. Netflix.
Come on, man.
Except instead of booty clapping, it's Netflix movies.
You don't do that to Okada dollars, man.
You think Okada doesn't do that with his own dollars?
I'm not talking about Okada. We got to treat these monies with respect.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for Matt Chat. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Okada dollars don't grow on trees, Steve.
Who's that he's giving? Oh, that's Kenny right there, huh?
He's got a Rainmaker? No.
No, it's not. Who is that?
I don't know. It's got an elbow pad.
Tanahashi.
Oh, it's no.
No?
I'm going to say it's Kojima, but Kojima, maybe Kojima. I think it's Kojima.
That's a hell of a Rainmaker. That dude is giving.
Because Kojima wears the sleeve on his arm.
Hey, did you notice this? Look. Dude, there's Okada dollars on the Okada dollar.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.